Hello and welcome back to the end of another week. Summer solstice is over. The days are getting shorter now, but we're starting to get flowers, so that's kind of cool. The weather's been really weird. So this time last year, I was out in California and Francis sent me photos of the garden and it like exploded while I was in California. And this year, definitely not the case. But I'll show you when we get up there. The hydrangea is throwing out a couple of more blooms, so that's kind of cool. And then come July, well, and it's also trying to grow into the house, and over there it's trying to grow into the roof. So beginning of July is when that thing gets trimmed for the summer. So I'm gearing up for that. My grapes are looking okay. You can actually see them, which is cool. This is the one that Francis accidentally decapitated, but it seems to be bouncing back just fine. And this is the one that I actually thought was completely dead, but it's looking pretty good. I mean, obviously they're too small to have any fruits, and if you don't remember, those are the ones that we picked up kind of north of Bordeaux when we went up that way for a wine and bike ride adventure with his sister in the little town up there. I forget what it's called, Saint-Emilion. There was a shop that was selling little grapevines, so I bought some. This area is still getting cleaned out. I'm working on that. I'm trying to salvage my berries, which is weird because now that I look at it, it looks like either Benji or an animal has dug into them. So that kind of sucks because they're sort of struggling as it is, and so they don't really need animals digging them up. This one's particularly bad. Look at oh no, that's a weed. But yeah, some of the things actually got broken off it. Anyway, these are blueberries, and I know that they need like pretty acidic soil. So I did fertilize them with like a blueberry fertilizer. And I'm going to go ahead and amend this bed with something to make it more acidic. I mean, I had originally put in some acid-loving plant soil blend, but it doesn't seem to be doing it. Our fig tree is pretty cool. I'm excited. We're actually gonna have like a decent number of figs this year. I mean, obviously not a huge amount because it's still a little tree, but there's probably about a dozen or so on here now. So that's pretty cool. The strawberries are still doing their thing, but the birds have definitely found my patch. So yeah, we have a lot of them that are getting eaten. I'm not really going to worry too much about it this year, but next year I will be working on trying to get the bird netting in that area so that next year we'll have more of a harvest. In the garden, the exciting thing is the beds arrived way sooner than I expected, as did the composter. So I wasn't expecting those to get delivered to like this next week. But yeah, they showed up end of, I don't know, Friday or something. So pretty much this weekend, when it hasn't been raining, I've been setting them up. So we have 2 set up here. And the way I'm doing it, these things are giant. They're basically 4 feet by 8 feet and 2 feet tall. So that's a lot of volume. So I'm doing this like hugelkultur thing where I pretty much like shove whatever I can find on the bottom as a decent layer just for like drainage and organic matter, and it cleared out. I took all of the stuff that fills this bed also is below the native dirt on here, and I took it from a pile over there that we were going to send to the déchetterie, the dump. But But yeah, so instead of sending it to the dump, I was able to cut it up into pieces that would fit into this pot. And then what I've been doing is I had that pile of native dirt over here, which I had pulled out of these beds when I amend them with the compost. So now I'm painstakingly shoveling the dirt from that pile into the beds. So I wanted to take the video a little earlier today, and that way I can show you. This is the bottom layer of basically all of the miscellaneous shrapnel. And then I'm putting a layer of native dirt on top and kind of like raking it in and getting it to fall down to fill in the gaps as much as possible. There will still definitely be a lot of like compression as things settle into place. But basically my idea is I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of this on this side to hopefully get it to look somewhat like this. And then I'm going to let it like settle. And I will start digging out this next bed soon. So I have 2 more of these, which will go in front of the composter here. And that way, I'm planning the wisteria needs to get trimmed, and we have an ornamental pomegranate tree over there that also needs to get trimmed. So those trimmings will come into the pots here, and I'll let them kind of dry a bit, especially the wisteria, because otherwise it'll just like root and grow everywhere. And then I'll be able to fill it with the dirt that I dig out of this hole. So those are the plans. I'm excited. Basically, this will give me a nice like selection of 4 kind of in-ground, double dug, mixed native soil and compost beds. And then for things that don't really work in there, or just for things that I want to grow in raised beds, like I'll have 4 in the end of these raised beds. And you might notice like people complain about these things being like super janky. But they're really like, they're more for just keeping the bed from like flaying out as I fill it with dirt. So those are just braces to keep it, you know, locked in. They don't really offer any structural support except for that. So yeah, they're kind of funky. They're not super sturdy, but I mean, these beds, I think they were like $50, 50 euros. So for the price, I'm very happy with them. Like, you know, you have to factor in how much you spend on things, before you complain. That being said, I still have a lot of work to do there. What else is happening? I know the electrician came out and did the lights over there, so maybe I'll throw in a photo of what that looks like. The composter arrived. This thing is so heavy. Oh, vash. But it's pretty cool because it's got these like things, and when they're open, it just like rotates, and then you can make it lock. And when it actually hits the thing, it'll lock into place, supposedly. Well, anyway, they do lock into place. Rain. It's definitely been raining this week. The gauge says that we're at like, what, 40? So yeah, that was a lot of rain. I mean, that other week we got this much rain in one night. That was insane. So for the week we've gotten, you know, 40, 45-ish maybe. So we'll reset that for next week. And speaking of next week, again, like my thing is just starting to dig this out, removing all the rest of the plastic, getting that plastic moved over into this area for weed suppression, in preparation for the chicken space. And yeah, with that, I'm going to take you over here and leave you with this hole that showed up in my compost pile. I'm pretty sure Benji dug it bigger, but I'm not sure if you can see. But like, oh yeah, you can't really see. But trust me, so it goes pretty deep in there, and it does not come out the other side. So something definitely decided to make a hole in the compost, which doesn't surprise me because it's actually really warm in there. But hopefully it has vacated by the time I need to get in and use it. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it for this week. I hope y'all had a good one, and let's pray for some sunshine, because my plants are really, really sorry right now. Anyway, have a good one. I'll see you next week. Bye.